Hi, so this is my entry into the Gavkoo 2.0 knife design contest. As you can see, I've drawn two knives. I'm going to talk about the bottom one first because that's the one I drew first, and then I'm going to talk about the top one. Basically, I started out by drawing the rectangle with the size of the material that is going to be used for the knife, and then I started looking at the size of the handle to see what would fit well in my hand and what would be comfortable, and then I used the rest of the material to design the blade. As you can see, the handle has a double handguard. That is a feature that you would see more on a tactical knife as opposed to, say, a hunting knife. It's got a little bit of a bend at the back. You can see the line there at the very rear where the handle material ends, and you have a skull crusher there with a 1/8 inch diameter lanyard hole. 3 pins, stainless steel would be what I would use on the handle. The blade itself is 2.5 inches long. On the spine of the blade, you see a little bit of a swedge at the front. It's 1.75 inches long, and it is supposed to be sharp. You can see that from the switch to the handguard there is a little bit of a taper on the blade, another thing that you can see is that the blade is quite stubby on this knife. I think even for a tactical knife, that is a usable length of blade, but I wanted a little bit longer blade. So what I thought about was we could either shrink the handle, but then we end up with a handle that is not very comfortable, or we can do a half-tang knife, and that is what I have drawn up there on the top. So now we have a 4 1/16 inch length blade with a switch that is now 2 1/16 inch. On the spine, you can see that from the switch to the handguard there is no longer that taper, it just goes straight back. Again, double handguard, 3 pins. The one on the rear does not go through the metal, only through the handle material, but it does help to keep the handle together, so I would include that on the knife. At the rear, again, we have a 1/8 of an inch lanyard hole. One thing I haven't talked about is that those ring guards and full hand guards, those are just options that I would like to see on a knife like this. In this case, they are not possible because of the restrictions of the size of the material, but as I said, this is meant to be a tactical knife, so if I were to do anything I wanted to with the design, I would incorporate those on there. In the top knife up there, I wasn't really looking at the handle on the bottom one. I wasn't trying to copy it exactly, so I kind of drew it freehand, and I ended up with a little bit more pronounced bend at the rear there. I think that actually looks a little bit more comfortable than the one on the bottom. And also, because I wasn't really looking at it, I ended up with a slightly longer handle. The one on the bottom is 4.5 inches long. The one on the top, it comes out at 4 3/4 of an inch long, which is not that huge of a difference in size, but it's a little bit different. As far as the handle material, I would use micarta. I also like those glow-in-the-dark designs that I've seen you do on some of the knives. As far as the sheath material, I would use olive drab kydex, and I would have the horizontal carry straps because that would probably be how I would carry this whenever I needed to use it. And other than that, I would just like to say that I'm relatively new to the channel. I actually found out about it because of this contest, because somebody that I subscribed to made an entry to it, and that's how I found out about the channel. But I like the different designs that I've seen you do on the knives. I think you're a very creative person, and I think this contest is also very creative. The idea behind it of having people design their knives, and the prize being that you're gonna make their knives. So it's a very interesting channel, and other than that, have a nice day.